Yeah, we're on, man. We're recording. What's up, guys? Welcome back.
Hey, Alright, welcome back, guys. I'm here with my good friend Daniel. Welcome to the channel. Damn, what were you saying? I thought you said what? No. What's up, man?
What's up, man? We're on?
Yeah.
We're on, man. All right.
What up, guys? Welcome to our channel. My name's Skyler. This is my boy Daniel.
Yo, what's up, guys? Thank you guys for watching. Let's get to it, man. Yeah, what's up, guys? We got a special guest. Thank you guys for watching. We'll dive deep into his story, into his business. Dulce Canella, one of the best churros in different areas. Compton, starting in Compton, Norwalk, and now all over the place. So yeah, Sammy, well, once again, before we start, thank you for taking this. You know, as you know, we're starting.
Yeah, thank you.
We're starting this journey, and hopefully it grows, and you're gonna be
I will for sure.
Part of it. So thank you very much.
Nice. Yeah, like you said, man, we were so appreciative of you coming on here and being our first guest and stuff like that, and being open to it and working with us, because we really feel like stories matter, and we really hope to get your story out there. So just start from wherever you want to. Start from when you first back to where you were born, for your roots. What made you do what you do, and then
Sounds good. Well, first of all, I didn't know I was the first guest. That's a surprise. So I'm excited. No pressure, right? That's exciting. I didn't know I was the first one, but that's cool. I've seen a few videos of you guys, talking about your stories and your experiences and everything. And I feel that you can really relate to each other no matter where you come from, because we all start somewhere.
Yes.
Unless you were born a multi-millionaire into a really famous family, which is not the case here. We all have a beginning, a story, a family member that inspired us, or whatever it is, the friend or someone. So I was born in Mexico. Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, one of the most beautiful cities in Mexico. I would say not because I was born there, but it's just there's so much history, so many nice people all over Mexico. But up to me, that's one of my most favorite cities in Mexico. I came to the U.S. when I was 14. I always wanted to live here for some reason. Not that I don't like Mexico, but it's always been something that caught my attention. Getting out of the country to seeing something different than so many different cultures that are here represented. Yeah. You have Asians, you have people from all over the world, Italians. I mean, to me, it was amazing to see people speaking in different languages. In Mexico, you see Spanish mainly. Yeah. You get here and you hear a person speaking Italian, and that's like someone speaking French over here. When you go to Hollywood that's true. Places like that, or you go to the mall or whatever, you see people from so many places. And I was like, wow, because I used to come on vacation.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
And it caught my attention. I was like, wow, people from all over the world. It's amazing to me. That caught my attention. And of course, you see the movies, you see it snowing everywhere, like Home Alone and all that. Then when I got here, I realized in California it doesn't really snow. But yeah, I really wanted to live here eventually. I was like, maybe someday I could go live out there when I'm older. Well, situations in life, put us in the U.S., me and my mom. My mom split from my dad when I was around 10. So I was with her, and she also liked being here because her sister was here, and one that she grew up with. And that really made me appreciate the country over here, because my tia was here. My mom liked coming here. And I was like, hey, let's go live out there. I was like, why not? Sure. Mm-hmm. It wasn't easy because I didn't speak the language at all. I got to school. I didn't understand much. I mean, you understand one or two words here and there, and you're like, wow, this is going to be difficult. But in the end, I mean, you just keep pushing, I guess. I was shy to a degree, but then I wanted to learn. I was really curious to learn. So I would talk to people, talk to other classmates, little by little words here and there. Yeah. And you get used to it. Maybe 2-3 years later, I was kind of understanding more. Got to high school, I was already doing okay with English. I was already paying attention in class, doing my homework. So I was able to write and read and understand, I would say 90-something%, mostly everything, but still you have the accent and all that. But part of that is that some people make fun of you. And I think that's a blessing in disguise, because you start losing shame. So yes, I have an accent. I mess up words sometimes. Yeah. And it's like, okay, it's not that big of a deal. People laugh at me. It's not the end of the world. I laugh with them. And that helps you. For whatever you're going to do in life, losing shame is the best thing. If you're going to be in sales, if you want to start a podcast, if you want to get into the music industry, whatever it is, you cannot be shy. Yeah. You have to be able to talk to strangers. You have to be able to start conversations. So long story short, yeah, I dropped out of high school because I didn't want to pay attention. I've never been really good with homework, classwork, but I do understand. I do learn concepts, and ended up graduating through home studies. Okay. for people that can't focus, really good. It's a great option, I would say, because you do things on your own time and on your own way. However, you find a way to learn it, but you do. And that's what I did. I would read it, understand it, learn it, pass the test, and I got my high school diploma from home studies program. Worked out good. Went to college a couple semesters. I wanted to go for business since forever I always wanted to be in business. I didn't even know in what, but I wanted to be in business. And turned out that I told myself, my credit is bad because I messed it up when I was like 17, 18, my first credit card. I messed up my credit. My credit's bad and I have no savings. What am I going to school for? Business. Yeah, well, what's the point? I'm just going to get out. I got to go to college, work, pay my debt, fix my credit, save up, and then I'll start business down the line. It worked out in the end. We're here. So that's a little bit in a nutshell. I don't know if you guys have any questions, any...
No, well, I can relate to you, dude. I used to come on vacation. I'm also from Jalisco, so paisano here. And yeah, Jalisco is a beautiful city. But just to say that, like, when people were making fun of you, you started just fucking laughing with them, right?
Exactly.
Prior to you accepting, like, your, let's say, like, them making fun of you, did you ever have like those hard days where you will go home and be like, you know, like, fuck this, I want to go back to Mexico because they're making fun of me or stuff like that? Because I know in school there's people who gets to them. They're not, I guess, mentally strong to get bullied or to get made fun of, especially as a, you know, as a Spanish speaking. Was that ever a case for you?
Well, I'll tell you, in Mexico, bullying is a little bit harder. Well, at that time, right now here it's a big problem.
Yeah, that's different.
But back in the day here, it was a little easier than over there in Mexico. Bullying is different. I mean, I was always the chubby kid with the hair all over the place. I have really tough hair, so eventually I let it grow out and it kind of gets on its place. But back then, it was like spiky hair all over, the chubby kid. I had asthma, so I couldn't play any sports, and I was just like right there on the sidelines. So you get used to not being the center of attention. And... you know, jokes here and there, you start feeling... I guess I took it the opposite way. Instead of taking it hard, I was like, hey, they're laughing with me and at me. Hey, let's make it fun.
That must be funny.
I'm part of the group, you know?
Yeah.
I would trip and fall because I'm clumsy. And, and I was like, oh, my God, that's so funny. So I felt kind of like part of the group because it was that. I mean, I'm not saying... I went with the same group, almost the same group of people since first grade to 6th grade in Mexico. So we knew a lot of each other. We knew for so many years. So if they would joke around with me, it didn't feel like, oh, it's offensive. We've been knowing this person for 3-4 years, so we're cool, you know? That helped me understand that sometimes when people make fun of you, it's not that they hate you. It's just we're kind of accustomed to that, especially being Mexican. I feel something that it's in the family, you know? They give you the nickname that's gonna bug you for sure. They'll call you, if you're fat, they'll call you gordo. It's like, don't call me fat, I want to lose weight. And you lose a lot of weight and they still call you gordo for the rest of your life. You know, so it's one of those things where I guess I took it the opposite. Instead of taking it hard, I was like, okay, cool, it's part of life. They don't really affect me much.
That's an interesting take on that. Like, I think most of us growing up we were always concerned about, you know, what people, the perception of like how people saw us. I remember, you know, when someone made fun of me, it was like, you know, I would try not to do that one thing only because I was like, obviously I got insecure about it. So it took me a long time until I got older or I would say later in high school. That's when I actually like flipped, like, you know, fuck it. If they're making fun of me, I'm just going to get them right back with another joke. And it becomes like a full on joke. That's interesting that you already you felt that you knew to do that already. Maybe it's because you've already had, maybe your family already joked so much with you that by the time the jokes from the kids were probably nothing, right?
I'm the youngest, well, from 2 older brothers and 3 sisters, and I'm the very youngest.
Yeah.
They'll make fun of my ears, they'll make fun of my nose, they'll make fun of everything. So I guess I got used to that because of my family. Sense. So then you get to the other kids that are your age and you just laugh about it. It's just like one of those things that are normal. So, yeah, you normalize it. When you have older brothers and sisters and you're the youngest one, you get accustomed to being made fun of.
Yeah, so. That's definitely... I wonder what the take would be if, you know, if you were like an only child moving to the U.S. versus having a family.
It's different.
You're right. I wonder like what someone's take on that or like their perception on like life, right?
Yeah.
Because like you weren't an only child either, were you?
No, I wasn't. I was the middle one. But now, like, I make fun of my little sister just like the way, you know, and she makes fun of me, so like by the time she gets to school, that's like she already heard everything, so it's just like so it's not gonna, so it makes sense. That's why I was laughing. I was like, I do that
Yeah,
shit.
for what I've heard, I mean, the people that I've talked to that are only child, they'll tell you that, and not everybody, I'm not speaking for everybody's experience, but for what I've heard, you get used to doing things on your own, solving problems on your own. You get used to your alone time. You don't depend on a lot of people to have fun, a lot of people to, feel good. So because you get used to it. Yeah. Even though I wasn't an only child, everybody was so much older. The sister that's next to me is 10 years older than me.
No, damn.
Everybody else is much older than me.
Okay.
So, and I can say my oldest sister age because she'll get mad. But my thing is that I got used to being alone. I got used to playing alone. I got used to being in the house alone all day and, find ways to entertain yourself without meeting other people. And especially the neighborhood that I grew up in, all the people from school live much farther. Not a lot, but when you're little, you don't even have a car to go out or everywhere, right? Go, So everybody in that block there was a park across the street, and everybody around that park, it was older people. Most people were older. There was no young kids. So I got used to being alone, playing in the park, chasing whatever birds or whatever. I used to just have fun alone. I got used to it.
Nice. No, that's interesting. Now, interesting background, right? Because I could totally relate. But now let's move forward, if that's okay. Maybe 5-10 years now, you always wanted to do business. You didn't know what you dropped out of college. I think we all did too. So you go into business. Well, prior to getting to the churro business, what was like your mindset working towards that? Like, because you knew you wanted to start a business, but you didn't know what. And then sometimes it just happens where like, oh, well, I guess it's a sign from God, or, like something clicks. You're like, oh, I'm going to start a churro business. Well, prior to you knowing that, what was the mindset behind that?
Well, let's go back to my childhood. I saw my dad. He specialized in tomatoes, but he had a big warehouse. Oh, okay. In the Central Market, right? Like right here down the street, you see the LA Central Market. Same thing. He had a warehouse, and he was known because my uncle was in the fields harvesting. He would send my dad product, and he used to sell a lot. So I saw that in business. When I was little, now that you're older, you understand expenses and profit. You might sell $1 million, but maybe you kept 10%. Yeah. So in Mexico, I remember he would get up to $1 million, 2 million pesos in sales. But of course, you have to pay expenses. You have to pay the truck drivers that bring you the product, the boxes, everybody's cut. But I didn't understand that. All I knew was like, wow, there's a bunch of money on the table. And he was like, if I was bored when I was like 7 or 8, I'll just count the money. I was like counting, okay, there's 50,000 here, 70,000 here, there's 80,000 here. It's not normal. You normalize it, but it's not normal. Later on when you grow up, it's like you don't get surprised by money because you saw it. Yeah. Now that I remember, I'm like, well, he probably sold $1 million pesos, but probably kept 80,000, 120,000. When in reality, it's not a lot when you think about all your expenses. You have to pay rent in the warehouse. You have to pay your expenses, your people that you have working selling because you need people to sell. But in the end, he was doing really good, and I understood. He always told me, even if you're gonna sell gum, if you're gonna sell chicles in the corner, but you sell something because that's how you're gonna make money. And I was like, that stuck with me. Yeah. Then fast forward into when I was in high school, I wanted a job. I told my friend, hey, give me a job. He was working at the Swami selling T-shirts. 5 T-shirts for $10, I remember. And he got me a job with his boss's brother. And completely unexpected, I became good at sales. Without even knowing, without having training, I used to get bored sitting there, and I'll tell people, people will be passing by, and I'll tell the ladies that were buying things. I was like, you want to take some shirts for your husband? No, he has a lot. Well, why do you wash? He's going to be working in construction. They get him dirty. Why do you wash? You're right. How much are they? $10. You get 5. Oh, for the whole week, let me get 2 weeks worth.
That's a good tactic.
Yeah, without thinking, and once you start reading about business, you understand that you're creating a problem that doesn't exist and selling the solution. Because, what's the problem with washing? Some people will tell me, I like to wash. What's the problem with me washing? But then I was like, a lot of people were passing by, even older gentlemen. They were like, well, you're right. Why am I going to wash, right? They're single. They don't want to wash. They don't want to. So I was selling a lot of T-shirts. For no reason. I was just selling a lot of T-shirts. Then my boss, and it became a trend where people were doing T-shirts with Mexican sayings.
I remember.
There was one that said, siempre amanezco guapo, pero exageré. Every day I wake up handsome, but today it's too much. And there was like 4 or 5 different styles. And I'll tell people, I guess without trying, I had the charisma to tell people, hey, this one's for you. You woke up really handsome today, sir. Hair all over the place. It's a weekend. It's like all hungover. Oh, thank you. Let me get 2 of those. One time he left. He had something to do. He left most of the day. Comes back and I sold him $2,000. It's unheard of. He's like, he saw a lot of shirts missing, a lot of things missing. Hey, what happened? I sold. How much did you sell? I gave him the money. What? You saw all this by yourself? Like, well, the guy in the stand across helped me back some orders, but people were passing by and I was selling, and there was people in the stand. People would come by. Oh, because I forgot to mention, those shirts were $5. They weren't 5 for $10. The ones with the sayings, they were $5. So 20 is 100.
Yeah.
So I was like selling and selling. Some lady passed by. Oh, I live in Colorado. I'm gonna take a bunch of sell over there. And I gave him $2,000 worth of stuff. He was like, "Ooh, you're a good salesman." Later on, he expanded to a bigger stand. I guess he took into account, like, oh, he's selling good, we're selling good, we're going to expand. But eventually I dropped out of there. I was tired. I used to go to work at 5 in the morning, 14 years old, ride my bike to his house, 5 in the morning, get out 5 in the afternoon. When I told him I'm not going to do this anymore, I'm tired. I wanted to start going to church. I started getting into reading the Bible. I started working on my faith, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to work Sundays because I want to go to church. I'll pay you more. It's not about the money. It's just the type of work. I'm tired. I'm working in the sun, waking up really early, getting off late. So I was a month without working. After that, then I went to a movie theater in Norwalk, in the city of Norwalk. They used to show older movies, second run theater. And then there, I became good upselling when I was in the register. Like, okay, the tickets were like $2, $3, but the concession stand is what makes you the money. So I started upselling the combos. Oh, let me get a small combo. For $3 you get the bigger one. Oh, but it's too much. Good tickets to go. Okay, sure, I guess give it to me. Or you see the kid with the family and all of that. Oh, I want candy. I'll bring out all the candy and the kids are crying because of the candy. Like, I want that one, I want that. Then I'll sell 4 boxes of candy instead of only selling 1 for them to share. It was like, I guess I became good, decent in sales. So that's how I was like, the progression of the different jobs that I had, or seeing it in school, people having their business. And I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to have freedom. I don't want to be clocking in. There's nothing wrong with having a regular job. I'll say something that most people will find shocking, but sometimes when you're a business owner, you wish you had a regular job to have more time for yourself. I wish it was 5 p.m. and I just clocked out, go home, and I don't have to worry about nothing.
Yeah.
But sometimes you want that freedom.
Yeah.
To take back a little bit what you were saying, it leads me to a question where, have you always had that? It seems like you have that hustle mentality. And do you want to speak a little bit like how you, I guess, incorporate? How did you get that mentality? Was it from your dad, watching dad hustle? Was it watching your family hustle? Did you just know one day that you were just going to be a hustler like that? Like you go out and you seize the day, 5 a.m., 14 years old, and you just know like this is what you want to do and you want to make the money. So
yeah, well, I mean, that's part of it, seeing my dad. My older brother too, he followed the footsteps of my dad. He did that for a while. He would go get produce and sell it, and he was doing that for a while. One thing that really stuck to me also was that this area has a special, right here in LA, special significance for me, because I remember one time he got $10,000 and he was gonna go up north. I left him in the Greyhound station right here down the street, and he was like, "Oh, I'll be back. Drop me off. I'm gonna go up north. I'm gonna work with this guy. We're gonna send tomatoes to Mexico, and we'll see how it goes. They have a good season over there, harvesting a lot. So I'm gonna go use my connects, because my brother with my dad, they had a lot of connects over there in Mexico." And he sent so many tomatoes, so many boxes of tomatoes, like it's crazy. He got flagged for sending the money from over there to here, all legal, all paid in taxes, but still calls your attention. $500,000 in one season. Dollars in one season. So that stuck to me, and I was like, how you doing? He goes, you just gotta sell. I mean, he'll get to over there, pay someone for the warehouse, the space. Hey, let me just sell my tomatoes here in the central market. And he'll give him a percentage, but he'll be selling 2, 3, 4 loads. So it was like, I saw that in him also. And I really grew up with him a lot. Like, we'll go party together, we'll go hang out and everything. I'll see it in him. So he's part of why I have the hustle mentality too, because he was always saying like he always knew how to talk to people. He always knew how to get what he wanted. So it was interesting. He had that charisma to talk to people.
Damn, that's crazy. That's a crazy story right there, because Good thing you asked, because there's people who grew up in that environment, but not everyone gets interest by that, right? Like I know people who their families are business owners, but they're just they decide something else, or they're just like fuck ups, you could say. You know what I mean? So it's great that you have that role model, right? Because not everyone does have role models, and I feel like that's a big part of, like we had mentioned, right? Like that's a big part of who you become, like following the steps of those that are guiding you and stuff like that. But
Well, if you don't mind, I could add something to that.
yeah, of course.
Some people have their families with businesses and they're not interested to it because they don't feel passionate about maybe the product, maybe the business itself. If it's a service, they don't get it, passionate about it. I see in YouTube, there's videos of this guy that goes to clean septic tanks. Just gross. Septic tanks.
Yeah.
He makes videos.
Yeah.
And obviously they're full of whatever septic tanks are full of, they stink. And he gets his machines and blends it and then throws water and then cleans it. He's talking while he's doing that. And you'll be surprised how many people watch those videos. But he's passionate about what he does. Maybe his parents probably taught him. His dad probably did that. But I think his dad and his brother work in the same thing. And you'll be like, how does someone get into that? He got passionate. You get passionate about a lot of things. There's people who are passionate about doing art. Do art. There's people who are passionate about doing music. Do music. Maybe... See, the problem, I guess, is when you start following things for the money. The money's not coming in, so it seems like everything's not working.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's people that do it for
Good
the love
point.
to the art. The people that make music just because they love making music, and maybe it takes them 15 years to hit, have a hit song. I mean, I also worked some time with Rancho Mil, as you know. I mean, it's a company that they struggled to make it. The owners were passionate about what they were doing. There was a lot of times there was no money to pay us, and I was working. I earned the respect because of that. I was also good, promoting, getting people into the club. Oh, it's $40 the entrance. Let's go somewhere else. It's cheaper. I'll work you a deal. What do you? That's how I went, becoming more important there, I guess. Because even though I wasn't an owner, I wasn't an investor or whatever, but I was good telling people, hey, come in, it's gonna work out. Like, oh, you're 4 girls. Okay, I'll charge 3 of you. One of you. Oh, you want a discount on a bottle? I'll negotiate it. So it was one of those things where you become good at something because you're passionate.
You're passionate.
I wasn't passionate about the music industry per se, but I was passionate about like, oh, we got sold out. Oh, we sold so many entrances to this event. So it's just find whatever you're passionate about, and you're gonna make money in it. Guaranteed. Whatever you're passionate about, you can turn it into business, no matter what it is. So the guy with the septic tanks, he makes a business that he's passionate about that service.
Yeah. It has to be, if it's about views or if it's about money, more than likely, you're gonna give up before you even see that, because you're not passionate about it. You have to really want it. You have to, and something that I will always say about myself and probably like about Daniel, because I know him personally, is that we may not always be the funniest, we might be not the most interesting, but we will outwork you, because we believe in hustling, and our work ethic is very strong, and we believe in putting in the work no matter what.
Discipline.
Yeah. And right now that you say that, because that happened to me, right? When I grew up and I see people like we always say this, like 20-year-olds driving a Lambo, driving my dream car. I'm just like, what the hell am I doing? And I used to think like, nah, fuck that. I have to follow the money. Like, who cares about what I love? Who cares about the passion? If they pay me more over here, I'm gonna do that. I was doing that, and then I learned the hard way. Like, I tried so many things, and you were right. You're right. I tried so many things, so many stuff that I'm just like, I want the easy money. And that's what that we talk about. Like, we like this shit. We like what we're doing here. So even if we don't get anything, as long as we love what we do, everything else will fall into place.
That's how you know if someone really loves what they're doing.
Yeah.
You can say you love it, but if you drop it after
6 months, a year,
6 months, a year, you didn't really love it. I mean, when you truly love something, you could do it on the side for so long, even though it doesn't pay off. Eventually it will. But you could do it because it's your passion. When we talk about passion, I mean, when you talk about sports players, for example, players from sports, their whole childhood, their teenagers, their college years, they're playing. Maybe they're not millionaires. I mean, they don't get that much money, but once they do it so good because they love it so much, Kobe is a great example. He did everything with such a passion, discipline, with that drive.
Yeah.
He became a millionaire. But he would say, like, I would get mad if I would see people, some other players eating whatever they want, partying the night before. They wouldn't train as hard on me. Why would I pass them the ball? That's a huge learning experience that you could take from his talks, because he would say, like, if I outwork you, you're not worthy of being next to me. So when you have a passion and you're doing it so well and putting all your time and effort to that, why would you think you're gonna fail? Why would you think you're gonna fail if you're doing because you love it and you're doing it so much? It's a passion.
And that's a good takeaway, like, for the audience who's watching. Really, like, if you just have to do what you love, and no matter what, like you said, money will come eventually. The success, whatever you're looking, riches, you know, you want to be famous, you want to be a celebrity, it'll come as long as you're doing what you love. Mm-hmm. And that's what I passed to my little one, to my little sister, because she tells me like, oh, I want to do this. I'm like, just focus on what makes you happy and what you love. Like maybe in 2-3 years you're gonna find different things to do that you're gonna enjoy, but for now, don't worry about the money, because now she's 16, and she's like, oh well, I'm gonna get a job, I'm gonna buy this. I'm like, no, focus on what you love. Like, do school, do great. And, you know, I start telling her, like, little business, but I gave her a business book. And I'm like, here, just read that. Like, just read it. She hasn't read it. But I'm like, at your own time. Because, you know, you could only be you could take the horse to the pond and I'll make him drink. You know
Eventually
what I mean?
she will listen. Yeah. It's just a matter of keep trying, because sometimes we learn the hard way.
Correct.
Don't we wish that our family didn't have to go through what we went through? Yeah. But sometimes they have to go through it because we went through it and made us who we are. So if they don't go through it, maybe that's not gonna make them who they are. Yeah. But I heard a phrase that says you're gonna have to do what you don't like for a long time in order to make it to where you could do what you love every day. So you're gonna have to work on something you don't like for so long to save up and start your dream business or your idea, whatever it is. But eventually you're going to be able to do it because you took the steps to build a foundation. I mean, it's impossible to do something with no money. Yeah. Sad but true, unless you have a beautiful voice and you could just sing. But even then, you have to pay a studio, you have to pay photo shoots and all of that. So now with social media, things are a little bit easier because you don't need a lot of marketing, expensive marketing like before TV or radio. But still, you have to invest. So work in something you don't like, even if you hate it, but you need money to save and invest and save a lot. I can't stress it enough. If I would have saved more, I think we would have been twice the size we are right now in the business. But we risked everything we had because we didn't have a lot. But the gamble worked out. Thank God.
Yeah. Well, to your point, what you said a little bit, you know, if you ask for strength, or you're asking God for strength, or you're asking for something, He's gonna give you challenges, right? So it's one of those things, like if you ask for it, you're gonna think that it's not what you wanted to. Like, why is God giving me this lesson? Why am I going through all these hard times? Because you ask for strength, you ask for like something to be strong, and you have to have those strong times. Like you have to go through that to become strong. He's
not gonna give you a fish. He's gonna give you a fishing rod, and he's gonna tell you, "Here's a lake. It's full of fish. Get it." And you know why? Because if we get things easy, we waste them. Yeah. I don't know. I think you guys have gone through it.
Well, yeah. If we were that 20-year-old, we would have got the car, crashed it, got a DUI. Probably, right?
We wasted because easy comes, easy goes.
Yeah, that's exactly what we were saying.
But yeah, let's push forward to we talked a little bit like that whole like the hustle mentality, how you got through that, and now if you don't mind, we want to push forward to the now, the struggles now, the hustle now, everything of what's going on.
Well, today we have gone, thank God, we've grown into 4 locations. At the beginning, we're more taking risks because when we started the company, I was a barber. I was cutting hair and I was saving money. We brought a little cart from Mexico. I was like, okay, let's start up. Let's try it out. The worst thing that could happen is it doesn't work out. We lose $1,000 in the car, but we can still resell it. So whatever. We have to try it. The reason why we thought about this business because I wanted to get into the food industry in case when I was a barber, if I break my hand, then I'm not going to make any money. If I want vacations, I'm going to lose money because I'm not cutting hair. So I wanted to get into the food business, but I guess the start is the easiest. So, and it sounds the easiest, but you still have to, people have to accept your product. Yeah. And we brought it, we were trying to sell, basically get feedback. We just started selling outside of my sister's shops at night. We were putting the cart out, selling churros. I mean, like little churros, $2 for $1, 50 cents, whatever. People were eating it, coming back. Oh, let me get more. So we started there for about a week or 2. Then after that, we had to find a spot because they didn't want us selling there anymore. We went down the street to Compton. We're in Paramount. We went to Compton outside of a liquor store. There was a taco stand like maybe 20, 30 steps away. So we're like, okay, they'll buy food. Maybe they'll come buy desserts. It blew up more than I could imagine. We were having long lines. Like people were tripping. Like, what's going on? What are they selling? Churros? Okay, I'll get in line, I guess. People coming from San Bernardino, the Valley, San Diego. Because we heard it. We were in LA, so we had to come put it on social media. Like I said, social media is great because just put your product out there. People are going to see it. We sold 6 months while they delivered the trailer, the churro trailer that we ordered with the permits and everything. So we were there 6 months, built a decent clientele. And then we went to a park down the street because there was more space. Yeah. There was 2 taco trucks. The people that know that part of Compton, East Rancho Dominguez, Atlantic Boulevard, they'll know. 2017, 2 taco trucks, and us in the middle. Fast forward to now, there's at least 10 food trucks, at least 20. I'm not exaggerating. 20 stands for different things. They came because they will see the lines.
They're like, oh, perfect time. If they're gonna get churros, and then maybe they're gonna want our tacos.
That's how it started. After we were selling good and the lines were there, people, okay, a little stand popped up across the street. Okay, no big deal. Then another stand. Then another food truck. Then another food truck. Now it's just so packed. And at the beginning, there was no one. We were putting it on social media. We were getting a lot of word of mouth. A lot of people were bringing their families. So it worked out in both. It was a hybrid, word of mouth and social media. Because, I mean, I feel if you push so much information in social media, you're promoting every day the same thing, people get tired of that. I don't want to go. But if, okay, it's there, and then people were saying, like, oh, it's actually good. Oh, do you see this place? And the family member, oh, yeah, I already went. It's really good. So late 2017, we opened there. But by 2019, let me backtrack. Late 2017, we were starting with the trailer, the permit and everything, having good lights. Exactly a year after, 2018, we're signing our lease for the storefront because we're already having an hour wait. We only have 1 fryer. Big enough because it was a funnel cake fryer, but it was a long line.
Yeah.
Wow.
So a year later, we're signing a lease for a Norwalk location. Everything that could go wrong went wrong. Took us almost a year to open it up.
Wow.
September 2019, we opened the doors, and thank God it was great.
Yeah.
At the beginning, we had our slow days after the soft opening. Slow days, slow weeks, but little by little picked up, and then it became known. Many places from Orange County, I hear a lot of people coming from Irvine, Santana Ana, and they're like, oh, you should open over there. People coming from Amani, from different places. And then last year in December, we opened the Hesperia location. My sisters are still family-owned business. Even though we're all ready for franchising, we have all the contracts and everything, but we wanted to kind of like launch something that was safe. Like I said, we don't take as many risks as before. So like my sister was interested. I was like, okay, we could do it like a hybrid, You're going to run it. We're going to run it as a franchise. We're going to treat it as a franchise. It's going to be yours. But we're going to try to work with something that's farther. Because, I mean, still Compton for Norwalk is only about 15 minutes. You run out of product, they could bring it fast.
Yeah.
Hesperia is like 2 hours away, hour and a half. So we opened over there, and it was a great response. People loved it, too. Lines out the door for the soft opening. Now we're doing Antilope Valley. Now it's a friend of mine. He's doing it as a trailer. He wanted a storefront. Couldn't find anything. Everything was overpriced or it wasn't food related. So you have to do a change of use, and it's a headache. So he ended up opening as a trailer. He's doing decent. It's been already like 2 months barely for Antilope Valley location. So now that I see that as learning how to work the logistics of the business, how to work the systems and procedures with those 2 people that we trust, my sister and my friend. Then we're going to be able to set a really strong foundation for franchises in the future. Texas, Arizona, Florida, wherever. Wherever God may take us with this business.
That's insane because that's pretty smart. I mean, you're treating it as a franchise with your loved ones or some people that you trust prior going franchise mode. Once you do, you kind of get that's awesome.
I wonder, is that the same style that I don't know if you would know offhand, but is that something like how In-N-Out does it, or is Chick-fil-A? I think they kind of family owned. Like In-N-Out, that's why In-N-Out's all on the West Coast.
Yeah, In-N-Out is 100% family owned. The latest CEO, Lindsay, she took it over and she's expanding it more, but it's always been family owned because it becomes a monster. Once you have a big business, 7 locations and up, it's hard to run.
I can imagine.
Imagine you have people that you don't know, that you don't trust. I mean, contracts are very important for that same reason. You have to be able to have a clause where if someone's doing something wrong, you could take it away and manage it yourself because people can mess it up in 110 ways. So Chick-fil-A does something different. They call them operators. They're not really the owners of the location. They get a salary plus a cut of the sales, I believe, and they don't really invest much, like $10,000. But you have to be in the company since the lowest entry-level job. So you run a whole location to be able to... Yeah, you have to have a ton of experience, which is smart. Yeah. But it's like, you cannot have other business ventures. I don't know about real estate, but as far as other food ventures, you cannot have any other food businesses. So you think that every company has their rules. But that's why those 2 are very successful. They keep up the quality. They keep up the customer service. That's what
important.
you want. And those are my favorites as far as customer service. Two of my favorites.
Yeah, I agree.
Because Chick-fil-A treats you amazing. You know, they're really good. They're really fast and they're really polite.
Yeah,
that's what you want.
I agree.
Yeah.
Take us back a little bit to you did mention that everything that could go wrong went wrong prior opening your Norwalk location. What were your thoughts when everything went wrong? Were you ever like try to like after everything went wrong? Did you ever at some point wanted to just forget about it and just stick to the truck and maybe get another truck or tell us a little more about that?
I'll tell you. The first thing that happened before we signed the lease, we had received the keys because I told the landlord, you know, it's our first time doing it, you know. He liked our business, you know, when I called him. And it's interesting because, you know, my theater job, they're in Norwalk. Left Norwalk, never came back. But I used to love Norwalk a lot, like if I lived there. Then I come back and open the business there without thinking about it. I was looking for places all over, and that was the only one that was able to believe in us because we're a small business, basically up and coming. So I told them, let me borrow the keys. Let me bring a couple people to look at it, see what the budget's going to be at. Because if it's too expensive, we're not going to be able to do it. Okay. First, we brought a guy who said, no, this place is going to be expensive. It didn't have a hood, you know, for the restaurant. It didn't have the proper gas lines. Needed an enhancement. It needed a lot of things. So it was like, no, it's going to be really expensive. We're like, okay, let's get a second opinion just to be on the safe side. And then this other guy was like, easy, you can knock it out with 50,000. Really? Yeah, okay. 50, 60,000. Okay, we could come up with part of that in cash and some part of that in credit cards. Okay, for equipment and things like that. Did it. He did the plans, submitted them. It was a struggle with corrections. If you're opening a food business, you know what corrections are. Health department just puts everything in red and says, I need this different.
Wow.
Yeah,
no.
I've seen it.
I was like, guys, I thought you guys knew how to do this. Like 30-something corrections. Oh, no, it's because we're more into houses. I was like, oh, you should have told me before.
Wow.
In the end, we got it approved. I was like, okay, cool. We got this approved. Perfect. Let's start working. We sit down, and they wanted to charge $120,000. And I was like, whoa. I understand a 10-20% increase. It's a 100% increase. What do you mean? Oh, it's because this and that. It's like a lot of nonsense. And I'll tell you why I know it's nonsense. Because then I was stressed out. My head was hurting. I'm like, man, what am I gonna do? I was in the trailer one day on a Wednesday, and this guy came in with his shirt. He had on mariscos for a seafood place, and he had his logo. I was like, oh, how you doing? I saw that you have a business, you know, you open your restaurant. Oh, yeah, and you came to support, and because you followed us on the page and shared us, you came to support. I want to go to your place. Then I asked them, by any chance, do you know anybody that could build our restaurants? Because I'm struggling with this. Which that shows you have to be okay with asking for help. You have to. We portray ourselves as being the big entrepreneurs, and we know everything. We have to be able to ask for help. He was like, yeah, I got this guy. He's really experienced. Okay, let me introduce him to me. He went, he saw the place, and his name is Dulce. He retired already. Amazing. His mind as far as building restaurants is knew every single code on how to do things right for the inspectors for the first time. Different materials, ways to save money, but still doing things right. I was like, can you help us out with this? Okay. He was like, okay, I'll outsource. I'll hire people because I'm retired already. I don't really do much work anymore. But I'll hire people to do it, and I'll tell you, I'll try to take care of your money as much as I can. We ended up opening with less than like around 40,000. So from 120, bringing it down to 140.
Yeah.
So that's why I know it's nonsense. The person wanted to do. See, it's because there's two ways to work out a quote. Do I want to be really professional? How many people are you having in your churro party? 100. Okay, do you want ice cream? Yes. Do you want fried orders? Yes. Okay, I'm going to charge you $2,000. I could do it $1,000, but maybe I want to get as much as I can for you.
Yeah.
You might say like, oh, I don't have that much money. Okay, what's your budget? $1,500. Okay, I'll take it. But I like to be honest. Whatever price I have, I'll use it for a person that has a house in LA, Compton, Linwood, or Beverly Hills, because we've catered Beverly Hills. I don't raise my prices.
Correct.
Some people might say, oh, that's kind of dumb. You can make more money out of that. No, I want the consistent customer base.
Yes.
You know? So in the end, we ended up, Douglas ended up hiring the people to do the walls. He ended up hiring people to do it's because there's this thing about textures and walls. They have to be really smooth for health department. I didn't know. He knew, like I said, all the codes. So he hired some people to finish out the walls. I got a person that we knew to do the hood. We called the gas company for the gas, but that was another mess. But that was not our fault. That was kind of like the gas company had the plans outdated from that city, from that area. They were like from 1930-something, the plans, 40-something. They're like, oh, we don't know where the gas lines are at. Well, that's on them. Sometimes they don't know how to work their own work. The electricity and the plumbing, that was another issue. We hired a person that wasn't very professional. I'll tell you how unprofessional he was. The electricians that I had to do the system from the hood, the fire suppression system is really tricky because it has to trigger the hood, the exhaust is still running when in case there's a fire, so it could take out all the oxygen and the smoke. But the inlet, the makeup air, has to turn off, so it works together so the fire doesn't expand. And I didn't trust this guy with the electricity. I don't know, something didn't make me feel right. So I heard these other guys that were working specifically in that fire suppression system electricity for them. So I hired him to do that. I don't know if he got mad about it. He got kind of butthurt. But they called out his work. Hey, that outlet is shorting. When we turn on the breaker, it's shorting. You have to tell them to fix it. And I didn't know nothing about electricity. I told him, hey, can you come over here? When they opened it up in front of him, he did something wrong. There was some cables touching metal. I don't know what it was. But it could cause a fire. And he got so mad. You're not supposed to tell me in front of him. You should have told me on my house so I know. Why do you tell me in front of the customer? And I was like, really? That's your concern?
Wow.
So the day of the final inspection for the fire suppression system, that guy went and cut cables so we didn't pass.
No way.
Because the guys that I told you that were doing it, they told me, hey, come here. There's some cables cut. Who else could it be? You gotta be kidding me.
Wow.
So I ended up distracting the fire marshals on the other side. Oh, allegedly. Distracted
it is what it is.
Distracted the fire marshals on the other side, asking them, silly questions just so they could reconnect, pull the cable. Took them like 7 minutes. Great guys for electricity, super professional, super knowledgeable. We ended up passing that inspection, but I'm still telling you, we're gonna get ripped off by the engineers, architects, and we're gonna get ripped off by the electricity guy.
Dang.
In the end, he ended up giving us a discount for something that he did wrong, and to not hiring him again. But that's what I'm saying. Everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. People trying to rip us off. The gas company didn't even know where the gas lines were at. Then equipment. We had when you open a restaurant, sometimes inspectors are really picky. They want to see the specification sheets for every equipment that you get, and it has to be the same model, matching, and everything's like, one number is different. Oh yes, because this fryer is shiny stainless steel and the other one is matte. Well, I don't care. There's a number different.
Wow.
But the BTUs, the heat system is the same. The thermostat is the same. I don't care. It's not the same. I'm like, oh really?
My god.
Wow.
So things like that.
Dang, that's insane.
Oh, so to answer your question, I'm sorry. You do feel like you want to give up.
Yeah.
You do feel like you want to give up so many times. That's not weakness. Is not. I guess I'll say weakness is not a sign of weakness. Because you could be weak in the sense that maybe I should shift my energy to another side. But sometimes you tell yourself, like, no, just try until you see no way out. There's still a possibility to get it approved. Okay, let's keep on going until they tell us, no, you're never going to open the location. That's it. It's shut down. Okay. Then move somewhere else. But don't give up that easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what, nowadays, like they say, like we say, like now everyone's like soft, like now everyone's like weak-minded. And that helps you, like you said earlier too. Like we get struggles because that builds who we are, right? Now, I bet you now, if you want to open a new restaurant or a new store, you already know the ins and outs. You already know what to look for. Because of what almost getting, ripped off there, and you know what to look for. Yeah. So that came this. So whatever struggle that you went through, it's always to be grateful because it's just a lesson. It's just a lesson to learn and always keep doing what you're doing, and you always come back stronger. Like once you're down, there's no other way but up. You know what I mean? You
learn from your mistakes.
Was this prior to your wife or to your girlfriend, or when did she came in? Because I would like to know that, because we have our partners, and I'm sure that's a big part of it. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, she's the base of everything. 100% the reason why we have the business is because of her. For two reasons. She ended up getting into churros because I used to take her. She was like, I don't really like churros, but she was thinking about the Disneyland kind of churros. And I was like, no, let me take you to a little stand, Mexican style, old person, making the churros in the oil, like the old-fashioned way. You're going to like it, because that was my thing when I was little. That was my favorite, snack if you went in the street. I would see churros. I would love to buy churros, and I was so in love with the churros. Okay, I'll try it. So we ended up looking for little spots to go try churros. Little stands, just whatever little spot we'll find, we'll stop buying. It became something that she really liked. So we ended up going after a few places that we went to, like on Monday. Hey, let's go have churros. Okay, let's go. Wednesday, do you think we could go find churros? Weekend, you know what I'm craving? Let me guess, churros. So she got into churros. And I was like, there might be something here. From there on, I started experimenting with recipes. About 6 months, experimenting with recipe after recipe. And once I had something that was good, and oh, these ones are good. Then that's when we started selling them. But the reason why we started the business because she started liking a lot the churros. And then I was like, okay, instead of taking her, I'll just make my own churro place. And she also financed us a good chunk for the Norwalk location. She actually invested in the company. And I told her, you know, I know you were scared that you were not going to get your money back if Norwalk didn't work out. But she's like, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie, I was. But
Wow.
yeah, I mean, what else could you? So, like, your partner to risk her savings for you.
Yeah.
Her time for you because she works with us now. And when we were starting, she was helping us as much as she could. So, I mean, I couldn't ask for more. And then when those times that you're tired and they went bad, everything's going horrible when you get home. She's like, oh, all right. She's happy to see you. It's like amazing. So it helps out a lot.
Yeah, you have that peace to go home to, right?
That's your piece. Yeah.
I seen it a lot, you know, but it's always nice to see it like in firsthand. Someone that I know actually say like the foundation is the partner, right? Because sometimes you might be stressed from work and you get home and she doesn't understand, and it could be a conflict, you know.
And you know actually how I met her. Like, I'll add this a little bit. I don't know if it's romantic or not, but I remember I met her at the very last event I went from Rancho Humilde. One of the last ones, because I was already retiring from. I was tired of going to sleep at 5 in the morning. I was tired of the loud music, everything. I was like, nah, I gotta do something else. And I told her, you know, I met her at one of the events, not a club, but it was a restaurant. They were having like a bohemian night with the Hijos de Barron. And she went. And I was like, I saw her, we talked. After that, we kept on talking. And I told her, to be honest, I'm going to leave this scene. I don't like the clubbing scene anymore. I'm going to start working more on my faith again. I'm going to get back to church and I start reading the Bible again, just so you know. And she was like, okay. Because she didn't want a guy that was all into parties.
Yeah.
But you never know. I mean, some girls are like, oh, I don't want a boring husband that goes to the church and starts by reading the Bible. She was actually, no, that's okay. I mean, I really don't want a guy that's drunk every weekend. I was like, okay, cool. And understanding. From there, we started talking more and more, and to where we're at now.
So you did basically, maybe she saw that there was loyalty in there, or she saw that there was like faith and stuff like that, but that you weren't just going to be any other person that was just going to be out drinking every weekend and stuff. And sometimes that's what, you know, you want to hear or you need to hear. So it's beautiful that, you know, that you maybe at the right moment, the right time was, you know, exactly what she needed to hear.
I tell her, because you had to like, because she says that, no, I thought you were cocky at the beginning. I thought you were like, I mean, because, you know, I mean, you're in the spotlight, you know, you're talking to artists, you're talking to women, you're talking to guys from all over. She was like, you're talking to everyone, you felt that you were all that, blah, blah. I was like, how? I don't know. But it's just like when you're in the music business or entertainment business, sometimes it makes it seem that way. Because you're talking to everyone, you're so secure about yourself or whatever at that moment specifically when you're there doing what you're doing. But she was like, I didn't like it when I met you. That's why you started talking to me. I don't know. So it was like one of those things where like he seems like a cool guy, but I don't know. And she was scared of getting hurt, of course, by a guy that's, you know, promoting. Like those are the worst people you could go out with. Go out with promoters. No, just a little joke. But yeah, I mean, she was like in between, like, what if he just wants to play me? But I kind of like something about him. So in the end, it worked out when we got to know each other in a more deeper level. That's how it is.
And it's also crazy how you actually stepped away from that scene, though. Because now a lot of people, I mean, I'm sure you still know people who are still doing that scene and they're adults and they still do their thing. But men like to be in the spotlight, you know, and you were, because that's how I met him. I met him through Rancho Humilde. He was like my boss at some time, right? In some type of way. And then he was like deep behind the scenes. You know, I was just like in the third row. He was front row. And man, like that. Guys like that. Why? Like he said, you're around artists. Girls want to be close to you because you're around artists. You're talking to all these promoters, all these music gurus, right?
Yeah. And
people just like that and they won't leave. But the fact that you said like, you know what, I'm tired of this, I'm gonna leave and do my own thing, that's crazy.
I'm being honest, I kind of walked away also. I was tired of it because of the toll on your health, but also my mom got sick. She ended up getting Alzheimer's. She passed away last year. But I walked away from that to take care of her. And You know, it's interesting because it wasn't like a secret, but the only person I talked to about it was Roque. Remember him, Roque?
Yeah.
And I told him, I explained it to him, and he was like, "Oh no, we're thinking of offering you this," and they were offering me he was offering me some good things, and I was like, "No, it's not about the business. I mean, I love you guys. If you guys ever need me, call me. I'll be there for you guys. It's just personal reasons, you know, to take care of my mom. Okay, that's fine." To this day, I don't think Jimmy even knew that because I didn't tell him because of that. He understood. He was like, "Okay, you want to start your own thing? That's cool," but not in a way like, "Oh, you want to start your own business." He was like, "Oh," he understood that people get tired of. I mean, it's tough. Traveling and waking up. Going to sleep so late and everything. But I don't regret it, even though some people sometimes ask me. Because the last person I brought into the company, they call him Russo. It's whiter than you, so they call him a Russian guy because he's really white. And he became what I used to do. He became that. He became Jimmy's right hand. You see him driving Rolls Royces. He has Rolls Royce all the time. His Lamborghinis, Ferraris, whatever. He's living the life according to a lot of people what they see. Yeah. But for me, since I got to get a little taste of what it is like to see luxury cars, see a lot of money, see famous people, I was like, okay, that doesn't fill me. That doesn't make me feel accomplished. In the end, I had to start my own thing in a different industry because I wouldn't be able to do. I'm being honest. Do really good in the music industry because it's not my passion or anything about that. It was Jimmy's passion, it's JV's passion, is that team, and I love them to death. And it's not that long that I saw them in one of their parties because we cater their parties, and I'm extremely grateful with them because they still hire us. They shake my hand. They're with I consider them friends. I consider them family because I was there in the tough times, and I saw how hard they worked. I saw how passionate they were about what they wanted to do. Now that they made it, I mean, some of the biggest music producers in the industry. Yeah. Last time I was here in an interview, they said that at one point they had, in the top 20, they had like 16 artists. Yeah.
Wow. That's beautiful.
Going side to side with Bad Bunny and all those artists. Yeah. It's incredible. It is. I feel good that I was a part of that. Yeah. But in the end, it wasn't what I wanted to do. So you can't lie to yourself and say, just because there's money, I'm going to stay here. No, be yourself. Be true to yourself. That's not what you love. I love you, I respect you, but I'm going to go another way. It's not like you're going to get offended by that. Like,
once in a while, I'll stop by, just like you said, build that relationship, that family relationship, right? Because at some point, I'm sure you were there for a long time, that's what you guys became. But yeah, that's insane, dude. It's amazing. You know how you go from that to now running your own chain of churros. And then now you did say you wanted to franchise, but what's the next step? Are you like franchising? Is there any other stores that you're gonna open on your own here locally or?
I mean, you're always looking for, if you see a location that makes sense and you want to transform it into your concept for yourself or corporate owned. We're 3 partners: me, my sister, my brother-in-law, of course, my wife, she's with me. So if we open something together, we could. The reason why we're going into the franchising route is, first of all, I mean, people do say, because of the money. But in reality, you don't make a ton of money from franchising if you only have 1 location or 2 location franchising. Yeah. In order to make really good money, you have to have like 5-7 stores franchised, and that's going to make you enough to, live basically without having to work. It's not like, I franchise 2 stores, I don't have to work anymore. No, forget it. You make about a 5 or 6% gross. So think about that. It's not a ton of
per
money.
store?
Per store.
Okay, so
that's kind of like the industry average. Some businesses do 4.5, some 5, some 5.5, some 6, but it's between 5 and 6 the average. So let's say, for example, I don't want to say McDonald's or Chick-fil-A because they have a lot of other fees that go into it that they make money from. But let's say a medium-sized store, let's say us, for example. If your store is selling, let's say $1 million, being optimistic, it might be from 500 to $1 million in sales a year. If you're doing $1 million, how much am I getting as a 6%? $60,000. It sounds like a lot, but after taxes, after your time, after everything you have to do, maybe you're making half of that. So if you want to make like a ton of money, you have to have a bunch of locations.
You need to do that per store, multiple. Like if you multiply that by 3, by 4, by 5 stores, then that's when you start seeing it where maybe
that's a sweet spot. Yeah. 5 stores is a sweet spot where you're like still very manageable, but still making a decent amount of money. But some people grow so fast and so big that it becomes problematic. I never wanted that. I want to take it slow because I have more concepts. I have 2 other concepts already ready in my mind, like to launch them. different completely. One is food, another one is different desserts. In case this doesn't work out, I could make another company that's gonna be equal or more successful. I say it just not because I'm cocky, because it's been very well planned. But I'm leaving it on the silence until we could invest in them and put our effort. And we're still putting a lot of time into Dulce Canella, so we're gonna work on this until there's nothing more to do to it. And okay, let's go to another concept.
We see the end result right now. Like people see like, oh, Dulce Canella, oh, he probably got help. They start assuming things, right? Because they don't know what happened behind the scenes. They don't know that maybe you wanted to give up when your first restaurant didn't work out, when everything went wrong. They don't know that. And I used to be like that too, where like I will see something and like, oh, he probably got help. So easy, because we're so easy to assume things. And this is why we want to bring people like yourself, right? We want to share your story of like what really happened, what went in the like the details of for you to get there. Like now you're again multiple locations, like you said, you already have 2 concepts ready. You have a beautiful partner who's your foundation, who who has been helping you, and then your family, friends. So now one more question: who do you like? Is there someone that you go based on, like your role model in this industry, or how do you go about that? Like, is it your thoughts and then execute, or like you analyze, or how, again, I'm not in the field of restaurants, so how do you go about that?
Well, you could get inspiration from everywhere, really, when it's food related. Because I mean, if you say like, okay, I have this mentor or this person that I know in the restaurant industry, and they give me advice and everything, I talk to a lot of business owners. Like that's one thing about me. I like to ask questions. So I could see a restaurant doing something nice, and I will ask them, oh, how do you get to do this system? How do you get your people so well trained? They're really polite, or whatever. So not one specific, but I learn about a lot of different people when I look at. I like to observe. No, but when in the back, I heard a story of Sam Walton, the founder of Walmart. One time he was, I think, at Brazil at a store, and it was packed.
Yeah.
And he was like a crazy person, looking at every shelf, looking at every product, looking at the floor. He was crawling on the floor. Right? Yeah, great. And like they thought he was crazy, and they realized, "What are you doing?" This is packed. I want to see what I could, I guess, copy or get inspired by to put it in our stores. And I was like, "Wow, that's interesting." You have to look at what other people are doing. Some people say, "Oh, don't copy, be yourself." Well, you can reinvent the wheel 10 times. Correct. You can improve it. We didn't invent churros. We made a recipe that people liked, and then we add a lot of products around them. We didn't invent fried Oreos, but people were like, "Oh, there's no place except the fair carnivals that sell fried Oreos. Why don't you guys?" Okay, we added it to the menu. So we listen to feedback. We look at what other people are doing and kind of get inspired and read. I do recommend reading if you don't like to read, because sometimes it turns out to be boring. Listen to podcasts or videos about stories, how people made it. And you learn a lot. You learn a lot from whoever already went through something. If someone is in a huge company, guaranteed they went through a lot of struggles. Yeah. Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos. If they're in big companies, it's because they already went through a lot of big hard situations that they had to overcome. So there's not one specific person I'll say that I get inspired by. It's just everyone, everything. But in the end, I always bring everything back to faith. Because God has helped in an amazing way. I mean, there's people that say that they don't believe in God. It's easier to say that instead of actually going into the evidence. Is there a God? Is there a higher power? Is there someone that's supernatural above? Because when you see nature, it's just so amazing. You know? Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I pray. I say, God, I'm going through this. What can I do about it? Sometimes he'll fix the solution, the situation, give you the solution right away, or sometimes they'll send people to help you, or sometimes there'll be silence. It's not time, stay there. Yeah. But we're struggling with sales, but we're having this problem. Stay there. Wait, this is going to teach you something. Okay? And then you make it out of it, you look back and you're like, so that's why I went through that. Because that helped me overcome this now easier. Yeah. So faith is a huge part of my life in business and personal life.
Yeah. To your point that, God will give you the lesson over and over again until you learn, right? Yeah. So that's why he says stay there.
The best teacher, because, in school you could fool a teacher and make it seem like you learn, but in reality maybe you forget it as soon as you get out of class. God knows your heart and he knows your mind. So if you haven't learned a lesson, you're going to go through it again, which is a good thing. That means that God cares about you. Sometimes people reject God so much. Yeah. That's okay. There's no more for you to do because you don't want it. God is not going to force you. He's going to help you, but he's not going to force you. Once you don't want anything to do with God, okay. But I've seen a lot of people tons of people that talk about how God has helped them in their life and business. And you see business different. You stop being dishonest.
Yeah.
You stop being lazy. I mean, I like to sleep. I like to relax. But you realize that everything you do, you have to do it as if you're doing it for God. So you take it different. You take care of your employees. You take care of the customers. You stop lying to customers. Because that's what I see a lot. I guess the biggest problem in the business world is the lack of ethics.
Yeah.
People do whatever they need to do to get rich. And that's where we're at. You know, where so many wars, so many poverty and everything because people don't have ethics.
If you don't believe, you have to believe in something, you know, and it has to be, you don't have to call it God. You can believe in a higher power, but you have to believe in something and have faith in something because, you know, there's no way you're doing it by yourself. And if you think you are doing it by yourself and you're making it to the top, it's out of greed. It's out of something where, you know, it's passes you up. You're going to come right back down. You know, you're going to be so unhappy. You're going to hate everything that you just did. So yeah, I really appreciate like you're giving a fresh insight. And, you know, sometimes you don't even notice it that when you're speaking to each other or you're speaking to someone else, what they can take from that. So I really appreciate that.
It's a pleasure to be here with you guys. I learn from talking. I learn from listening to you guys, from asking questions, answering questions. That's amazing. Anything else, Danny?
Yeah, I mean, that got me thinking, dude, before we conclude with the final question, just like ethics, right? Because people, like you said, people tend to be dishonest just to get what they want. But in the long run, if you're honest, like you said, like you charge the same when you go to Beverly Hills and when you go to Compton, because eventually it's going to come back to you times 2, times 10. And that's just the point, right? Like just be honest. And same thing like nowadays, like with females, right? Let's just touch that little subject right there. I know people who are players, you know, they want to have like, and you know, we leave that singing. I mean, we're men and at some point we were, And it's like, you have to be a well-rounded person for things to go your way, right? Now you stick to your partner, you stick to your ethics, and then what's gonna happen next? Another location, another contract, another whatever it is that you're looking for, but you just gotta stick to that.
You have to surround yourself with those, again, either like-minded people or the people that are there that are gonna stand
but it has
by
to
your
come
side,
from
right?
you though, like, you know what I mean? Like he said, like just be ethical, and it is what it is. If you're cheating or you're like lying to people, then that's your stuff. But as long as it's coming from your heart and you're being honest, God is gonna see that and He's gonna put you in the right path. But yeah, man, it was amazing. Like just seeing that weight of you, you know, because I stopped seeing you in the Rancho Humilde scene. So you know, I always had that idea. Well, Sammy, that's where I left them at. So that's Sammy, you know.
A lot of people,
you know. So, but I'm glad you stopped by. And maybe the final question now: if you were to teach one thing to the world, what would it be and why?
To the world.
Yeah.
No pressure, right? To the whole world.
Take your time. we're gonna do something.
Look, like I said, a lot of people might say that, oh, he's dumb. I could have done it different by hustling people, making more money from whoever has more money. You could do that. That's a great route. I like to be honest. I rather raise my prices if I have to than lie to people and say, oh, because I always ask, where's the event? And they give you the address and you're like, oh, Beverly Hills. You could charge more. You could actually go in and double your price. Maybe they'll pay it. But it gets back to you because eventually when you're a dishonest person, people could feel that. So say the truth always, even if it hurts you or someone. I mean, I'm not saying be a jerk, and if your wife cooks something salty, you're going to say, oh, it's horrible. No, but, you know, be honest. Oh, you know, this could have been a little different.
Yeah.
Being honest, treating people with respect and treating people nice, treat people how you want to be treated, and help others. That's one thing that people can't believe about me, that I help others even if I don't want nothing in return. And there's people that I've helped. I won't say names. They have businesses now. They went to me for advice. I went with them to stores. Oh, you should buy this product. Or you should buy this machine. Or you should do it like this. And they listen to me. And they don't speak to me anymore. And then there's others who are really thankful. And they're like, oh, you're a cool person, because when I ask you questions, you answer like if I was paying you for mentorship or something. You help each other. You don't lose anything. If you feel that you're helping a competitor, then that means your product's not that good. If you feel that's going to go down. No, you put your product against anyone, and even if they open in front of you, you could beat them. Friendly competition, if you will. Yeah. Say the truth, help others, be nice to others, treat others with respect. You know, don't do to others what you don't want done to yourself. And love life, love people, love what you do. Because when you love, nothing seems hard, you know. You sacrifice for love. Think about it with your families. You sacrifice for love. If you love your customers, I love my customers. I love people that come in and they're regulars. I love them because they're like, oh yeah, I was here yesterday, then I'm here again. How come? And I love you're supporting a small business, which is what it is. You could grow to 10, 50 locations, still a small business in my eyes because we still treat it as family owned.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
That's couldn't have said it better, man. You heard it, folks, from Sammy, right? The mastermind behind Dulce Canella, great churros, different locations, and new concepts coming soon. I guess I hope soon. And it's been a pleasure talking to you. We're really grateful that you're our first guest, and again, like you're helping us here. Again, and I don't know, dude. I'm just very, very content and happy with this.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I'm very grateful. I have nothing to add. I mean, to that point, I mean, what we'll do is, we'll put Dulce Canella links in below, anything you want to send, so that the viewers, everyone can see this. They'll have access to your links and go support you at, just like you're supporting us in this instance right now. I mean, we would love for everyone else to just see this and just go. Yeah,
definitely.
And we'll definitely we'll love to have you back. Once we once you start, hopefully the new concepts, once you throw those concepts out there, we will live to talk about them.
When there's something new, I keep you guys updated. Something new to announce, and we'll be here for sure. Anytime. It's been an amazing time. I feel comfortable. We're just having a conversation. Two great guys that have discipline. They're hard workers, and they're starting something. So I always love someone starting something for themselves. Whether it's a business, a podcast, music, whatever it is. If you're starting on your own, I know how hard it could be. I know how many challenges there is, so I like to support one way or another because we've all been there. Yeah, I've been there too.
Okay, awesome, man. Cool. Well, just like, share, subscribe, guys. As always, thank you for watching. It's been a pleasure speaking with you again. And then Daniel, if you have any closing remarks, that's it, man.
No, once again, just make sure you drop a comment and follow Dulce Canella. Subscribe to us. We'll leave everything in the comments.
All right, then. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Peace.